Hey, this is Mike Matthews from Muscle for Life and Legion Athletics, and let's talk about something that I get asked quite frequently about these days, and that is butt building. How to get a bigger and stronger, but mainly just bigger butt. And fortunately, it is quite a bit simpler than some people would have you believe. You don't have to do a bunch of fancy exercises. You don't have to do like 82 variations of banded squats and lunges and kickbacks and crawls and so forth. Also, you don't have to try to focus on, let's say, the upper or lower portions of the glutes, because there really aren't upper or lower portions. You have the gluteus maximus and you have the gluteus minimus, and your primary goal is really just to make those muscles stronger, and the stronger you make them, the bigger they will get. Another myth that is floating around out there about glute training is that you need to do certain types of exercises and usually certain types of cardio, like stair stepping, to burn the fat off of your glutes. And while that might seem to make sense on the surface, unfortunately, research shows that targeted fat loss is basically impossible. You have very, very minor local effects that occur when you perform exercises, but on the whole, really what you can do is reduce your total body fat percentage. And eventually, the area that you want to get leaner will get leaner. If it's a more stubborn area, it might take longer than you'd like. Like for us guys, that's usually our lower abs. And for girls, it's usually the thighs and the hips. But if you just keep getting leaner, you will get rid of the fat you want to get rid of. And one last little myth that deserves debunking is regarding sprinting, because many people think that sprints are a fantastic glute exercise and that if you want to have great glutes and you're not sprinting, then you're making a big mistake. And that's simply not true. While many sprinters do have great butts, let's not forget that one, many of them are also genetic freaks, and two, they also lift weights. So sprinting does involve the glutes. Yes, that's true. However, it's not nearly as effective over the long term as just a well-designed resistance training program, because you can't progressively overload your glutes in the same way with sprinting as you can with resistance training. And also, if you've ever done any maximum effort sprinting, you know how hard it is on your body, on your lower body in particular, and it makes really any sort of lower body weightlifting difficult to do, because for the next couple days after a hard sprint session, you are not going to be squatting or deadlifting or really doing anything with your lower body other than recovering. Okay, so now let's talk about how to train your glutes correctly and then get to a workout that you can do for the next 30 days to see results. So the main principles here are, I want you to focus on exercises that allow you to safely, progressively overload your glutes. And by that, I really mean just adding weight to the bar over time, getting stronger over time. That's progressive overload. You work your volume up to a point, so you work up to a certain number of reps, and then you add weight, your reps go down, your intensity goes up. You work with that until you get that volume up, and then you add weight, and so forth. That process repeated over time is the best way to progressively overload any muscle in your body, and that is the only way to continue gaining size and strength over the longer term. So in terms of butt workouts, that means that your bread and butter, or your meat and potatoes if you like, are going to be your heavy squatting and pulling, and then your dessert is going to be some supplementary stuff like kickbacks, hip thrusts, and split squats. So in terms of exercises, your best bets are going to be the barbell squat, which is of course no surprise. But what you might not know is that research shows that the wider your stance is and the deeper you squat, the more it activates your glutes. So that's something to keep in mind when you are setting up. And then there is the barbell deadlift, which is not just a great glute exercise, but a great whole body exercise. And studies show that both conventional and sumo style activate the glutes more or less to the same degree, so do whichever you prefer. And if you're not sure which one you should be doing or which is better for you, go to muscleforlife.com and search for sumo, and you'll see an article that I wrote on sumo pulling and how to determine if you should pull sumo or conventional. And a key point to highlight here is the importance of full glute activation while you're pulling, which many people don't do and don't even know about. So what you want to do is, when you are pulling the bar off the ground, as you start to ascend, your glutes should start firing. You should start feeling them contracting. And then you should feel them really contracting when you get to the last half of the lockout. So as you are really starting to stand up and reaching your top position, your glutes should be really squeezing as hard as possible. The next exercise that you should be working into your butt workouts is the hip thrust, which you can do with a barbell, you can do with a dumbbell, you can do with bands, various ways to do it, but it is all the same basic movement. And the lunge is another great exercise. You can do the barbell lunge, you can do the dumbbell lunge, you can do it walking, or you can do it alternating. I prefer alternating barbell, but that's me. The Romanian deadlift is another great exercise. It is a type of deadlift that focuses a bit more on the hamstrings and the glutes. And then there's the Bulgarian split squat, which is a single leg variation of the squat. Very, very good exercise. I work them regularly into my lower body workouts. I'm usually not replacing my my bilateral squatting, but I'm doing it in addition. So I might do some heavy back squats or some heavy front squats, and then some Bulgarian split squats. And lastly, the glute blaster machine is a good machine. It basically has you on your stomach or on your fours, and you put one of your feet on a platform and push it away from you. Okay, so let's turn all of this into a workout routine that you can follow for the next month or so to get results. So I'm gonna give you a few workouts and explain how to do them. So the first day, you are gonna do what we can call lower A, and that's going to consist of the barbell back squat. You're gonna warm up, and if you're not sure how to warm up, go to Muscle for Life and search for warm up and check out the article that I wrote on it. So once you've warmed up, then I want you to do 3 sets of about 4 to 6 reps. That is 80 to 85% of your 1 rep max, pretty heavy. Then I want you to do the Romanian deadlift for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, followed by the barbell or the banded hip thrust for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Then day 2 is gonna be our upper A, because we're not gonna completely neglect the upper body and just train the lower body. So here what we're gonna do is the incline barbell bench press, warm up, and then do 3 sets of 4 to 6 reps, and then move to the close grip bench press, which puts a bit more of the emphasis on your triceps, and do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps there. Then do the seated or standing military press. I'll leave it up to you. I would recommend doing a little warm up on that as well, even if it's just 1 or 2 sets, and then do 3 working sets, 3 heavier sets of 8 to 10 reps. And lastly, do dips and do them the chest variation where you're leaned kind of forward as opposed to straight up and down, which is more the triceps variation, and do 3 sets of body weight to failure. And that takes us to day 3, which we will do our lower B workout. And that starts with the barbell deadlift, warm up, and then do 3 sets of 4 to 6 reps, followed by the barbell or the dumbbell lunge, walking or alternating, up to you, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, followed by the single leg hip thrust or single leg glute bridge. And again, if you're not familiar with any of these exercises, you can just look them up online and find good high quality videos on how to do all of them. They're pretty simple. And for this last exercise, do 3 sets with your body weight to failure. And then day 5 is going to be our lower C workout, and that is barbell back squat, warm up, and then do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, followed by the Bulgarian split squat, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, followed by the glute blaster or hip thrust, up to you. If your gym has a glute blaster machine, do it. If it doesn't, then do the hip thrust and just do 1 set of 8 to 10 reps. And then days 6 and 7, you're off. Again, I recommend no intense physical exercise on these days so you can maximize recovery. If you want to do some light cardio or just be lightly active, that's great, but I wouldn't recommend a lot of high intensity exercise of any kind on those days. And just a few things that you should know when you're doing these workouts. One is when I'm talking about rep ranges like 4 to 6 reps or 8 to 10 reps, what I mean is when you get to the top of those rep ranges, so when you can do 6 reps of a given exercise or 10 reps of a given exercise, it's time to add weight. It's time to put weight on the bar or grab heavier dumbbells. So for example, if you can squat 135 for 10 reps, you then add 5 pounds to each side in the bar. So now you're at 145, you rest, and you should get 7 or 8 reps on your next set. And then you work with 145 until you can squat it for 10 reps. And then you add weight to go up to 155 and so forth. Now, if you find that when you do that and you move up in weight, you can't get at least the number of reps that are on the bottom of your rep range, let's say -1. So if you get to 10 and you add weight and you get 7 but not 8, that's fine. But if you're getting like 5 or 6, then you have two choices. One, you can reduce the amount of weight that you're adding. So in the case of barbell exercises, you can add 5 pounds by putting 2.5 pound weights on either side of the bar, or you can go back to your original weight. So in our previous example, that'd be going back to 135 and working up to 2 sets of 10, and then you should have no problem moving on. Also, I want you to rest about 3 minutes in between your 4 to 6 rep sets and about 2 minutes in between your 8 to 10 rep sets. That's probably a bit more than you're used to, but research shows that those are optimal rest times when you're working with those heavier weights to fully recoup your strength so you can give maximum effort with each set. And lastly, you should know that you don't have to go to absolute muscle failure every set to make progress. And absolute muscle failure is where you have to abort a set, where you cannot complete a rep because you just can't get it. Instead, you can go to the point where you're 1 or 2 reps shy of failure. And that's the point where it's hard, you're struggling, but you can finish the rep and you're not quite sure if you're going to actually be able to get another one. You can stop there. And lastly, let's talk supplements, because whenever the topic of muscle building comes up, a lot of people wonder if supplements can help. And I saved this for last because, quite frankly, it is the least important. No amount of pills or powders can give you a great physique. Only proper diet and training can do that. However, the right supplements can speed up the process. And in this case, the right supplements are creatine, which is a natural substance that your body produces, and it's also found in some foods like meat. And it's probably the most researched molecule in all of sports nutrition at this point. There are hundreds and hundreds of studies on it that conclusively prove that it can help you gain muscle and strength faster. It can improve anaerobic endurance and reduce muscle damage and muscle soreness resulting from your workouts. Now, in terms of what specific product to take, I myself use my own, which is a 100% natural post-workout supplement called Recharge, and it contains creatine as well as 2 other natural substances that are proven to help you recover better and faster from your workouts. And if you want to learn more about it, just click on the link in the description. And the next supplement worth mentioning is a protein powder. Again, a protein powder is not necessary by any means, but if you want to gain muscle and strength anywhere in your body as quickly as possible, you have to eat quite a bit of protein. You have to eat about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight per day. And while you certainly can do that with whole food, it can be a bit tricky. Adding a powder into the mix makes it quite a bit easier. They're just convenient. And in terms of what type of protein powder to take, I like Whey Isolate the most, which is a whey protein that has the lactose and the fat removed. So it's basically pure protein, and it's also very well digested. It's very well absorbed. It's very rich in essential amino acids. It's pretty much ideal for our purposes. And in terms of specific products, I take my own, which is a 100% natural, 100% whey isolate protein called Whey Plus that you can learn more about by just clicking on the link in the description. And last on my list is the pre-workout drink. And if you've tried pre-workouts before and you didn't like it, if they made you jittery, if they made you nauseous, or maybe they just didn't do anything, I do understand there are a lot of bad pre-workouts out there. And that's why I just made my own, which is called Pulse. And it is a 100% natural pre-workout, which means that not only are the active ingredients natural, it also is naturally sweetened, it's naturally flavored, and it contains no artificial food dyes or unnecessary chemical junk. And really what makes it special is it has clinically effective dosages of 6 ingredients that have been proven to enhance your workout performance. And in a couple of cases, like beta-alanine and citrulline, can actually directly impact your muscle building over time. And again, if you want to learn more about it and you want to learn about the science behind the formulation, just click on the link in the description. All right, well, I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please do give it a like. And also, if you have a question or suggestion, just drop it down in the comments below. I get a lot, and I'm not able to get to them all, but I do put some time every day into my YouTube comments, so I hope to see you down there. And if you want to know when new stuff goes live on my channel, just subscribe, and YouTube will pester you whenever I post something. All right, thanks again, and I hope to see you in the next video.